All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope that your EDD issues are finally starting to clear up. But I'm here to try and help you figure out anything that's still looming. If you're pending, you are most likely going to need to call the EDD. They are open today, but there's rumors that tier 2 reps do not work today. And so I usually recommend calling Tuesday through Saturday. 2:30 to 4 p.m. are supposedly the best times. Long intro message, quickly hit 134 afterwards, and hopefully that gets you through. It doesn't work every time. I do have a couple of questions from members on the channel, and Andy's in here. You guys, just so much love to you, Andy. I'm so glad that you are okay. That is a huge relief. Yeah, and no need to apologize. Yeah, yes, you have a lot of support, and he might not realize it now, but one day even if you don't win the fight to get him, to see him as much as you want to, he's gonna know one day how hard you fought. You know what I mean? So he knows that you're fighting for him. Not now, maybe, but in the future he will, and he'll know that he was loved by his dad. You guys have talked a lot about my mom, but I don't know my dad at all. As my dad left. Well, my mom says she kicked him out when I was 1 month old. So I've never met him. Like, I don't know what it's like to have a father at all. And so for your son to have someone that loves him, that wants to be there, that's going to mean the world to him. Okay. And I'm again, just so glad that you're okay. Myra, I am back at work. Yeah, I actually got off work at like a little after 1 a.m. last night. Got to bed maybe around 2. So feeling a little tired, but that's okay. All right. Short Dog says, I got my hearing with the judge. He had to appeal. So let's hope for the best. Now, my question is, why did I go from pending to disqualification status? When you're getting disqualification, a lot of the times right now, not always, but a lot of times it's not your fault. It's just bringing up the wrong claim for you to certify on. Maybe you qualified for a new claim, but it's bringing up the old claim. Or for some reason, you didn't qualify for a new claim and it's bringing that one up and having you certify on it. And the balances can look the same, but a lot of times it's just the information in the computer is a glitch, if you want to call it, or getting stuck, but it's not reading right which claim you should be certifying on, and it doesn't bring up the right one. So it often goes to disqualification. So that can often be why, and unfortunately, that's one of those cases where you're gonna have to call to get that fixed. So I hope that that's why. I hope it's just a glitch, that it's bringing up the wrong claim for you to certify on. And Short Dog, when is your hearing? And I just all the best luck for you on your hearing. Denise says, why does my extension date still show 5/17/2020, even though I got paid for the last 4 weeks pending payments and I have my claim balance updated? So it sounds like your claim balance updated and you're for the extension, not necessarily a new claim. So that's what it sounds like. So if you're just approved on the extension and you're not approved for a new claim, it's going to show the date when you first applied for unemployment benefits. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up to the 11 a.m. timestamp. A lot of you guys saying good morning. Good morning to everyone. Hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday. Ishu, thank you for the donation. And let's see. Okay. You know what? There's not a lot of comments, so I'm going to go ahead and do the first one, which is from Edward. Notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. That's PEUC. Got an extension, and today the payment is pending. Should I call or wait for payment? So a lot of people I've been seeing on the Facebook message board that I moderate on, they certified and it's pending. That can be normal for up to 72 hours after certifying. So if it hasn't switched to paid by Wednesday, that's when you're going to want to call them. But hopefully it switches to paid either later this evening, like after 10 p.m. or in the morning when you wake up. And thank you, spell legacy like death. I got spotted at my job this week. That was kind of cool. The guy was super nice, said his friend was a fan. So yeah. Okay. And also, Andy, my mom, it sends a lot of love to you as well. Just want you to know that. I mean, your sister was super, super sweet. Everybody just very concerned about you and glad to know that you're okay. Scotty says he's certified this morning, reported wages from a new job for the past 2 weeks, and the payments have switched to paid, waiting for it to be on the card. Hope it's not too hot in LA. It's not. It's a very nice day out here. Thank you. Glad that I know you're getting used to your new job and they're giving you a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, so I hope that you're enjoying that. Joel says, Fed Ed rules. So by September, they won't be looking at our base period from when we first applied back in March 2020. I actually just reread the Fed Ed rules after my last video on the unemployment rate. And I actually thought they did change the base period that they look at. But after rereading it, I don't think they do. But we are going to have to wait. September's a long way off to one, see what our unemployment rate is. And I also said it was 6%. And there are some other calculations that can allow the unemployment rate to be even lower than that and still get Fed Ed. It's I want to say it's if the unemployment rate is 125% of the average of the last 2 years, then it can go as low as 5.5%. Last time when people qualified for Fed Ed, there was a thing in there that said it had to be that your claim was filed after March of 2019. So I wonder if this time when September rolls around, they're going to change that deadline. So I'm going to need to wait and see more information. But from what I reread, it actually would use your wages from when you first applied from unemployment. So that's actually good. Andy's saying, good morning. You're doing much better. You're at home and praying every day. You're not going to let anything bad ever happen again. I apologize to those I scared. And thank you all for your support and love from the bottom of your heart. We're all just relieved that you're okay. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you being open as well. Like a lot of people don't talk about these things. And yeah, lots of people are struggling. And guys, another note, Andy's not just going through something with EDD. He's got other things going on. But EDD is definitely frustrating people, and it makes me really sad. Okay. Javi says, how much longer do I have to wait for my EDD interview? I've been waiting since April. That's too long, in my opinion. If it's just a phone interview, you shouldn't still be waiting April, May. Now we're in the middle of June, really. So I unfortunately would recommend that you call the EDD, use the Ask EDD feature, use the Contact Us feature. I know it's hard to get through to the EDD. I know they often don't reply to those other two methods. It's definitely time for you to reach out to your assembly member and tell them, hey, I'm experiencing a financial hardship because I haven't been paid since April. Is there anything that you can do to help push these payments through? If you do decide to call the EDD on your own, also make sure to mention that you're having financial hardship since you haven't been paid since April. Ishi says, oh, yes. Thank you so much, Ishi. And thank you for the donation as well. I'm just saying that glad that we're together and glad that Andy's okay. Rasar says, whatever happened to that expansion plan of the Golden State stimulus? They were supposed to expand it so more people can get it. Is that dead? I don't know if it's dead, but I have not heard any updates on that. So Rasar is talking about the Golden State stimulus, which is an extra $600 right now for people who make under $30,000 a year. They were talking about expanding it to people who made less than $75,000 a year. So that would mean that a lot more people get it and qualify for it. But I have not heard anything about that since they first mentioned it and it was a big news story. So yeah, no updates that I know of. Ben says, I think EDD must have updated their 1980s servers because they could totally certify at midnight now. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you could certify at midnight. Robert says, my EDD benefits are 0. Do I notify them or what do I do? So it depends. If you're still within your benefit year, it should update automatically. Once your claim balance hits 0, it stays there until your next certification date. If you see the next time you can certify, that's a good sign. About 5 to 7 business days after your claim balance hits 0, that's when you should see your balance go up. If it doesn't go up or you don't have the option to certify, that's when you would need to call the EDD. And if you're outside of your benefit year, even though the EDD says they will apply automatically for you if you didn't have enough wages, I kind of do recommend calling, because even in the EDD news release, they said that one of the ways to see if it would automatically be filed for you is by trying to file a new claim. And if it lets you, then you need to file the new claim. And if it doesn't let you, then you don't need to file the new claim. So I kind of recommend calling to see, do you or don't you need to file a new claim. Scotty, thank you for the donation. Scotty's thanking me. Oh, and send it to Andy if possible. We're here to support you and care about your well-being. You guys, with YouTube, first of all, they take a big cut of your donations. I appreciate them very much. I am donating all the proceeds from the last video to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is a 1-800 number that you can call, just if you're having suicidal thoughts. Also, I made a post saying that you could call the police to do a wellness check, and that was met with a little bit of resistance, and I can totally understand why. The police are not always the most sensitive. I just want to, the trigger warning on what I'm about to say next. Let's say that a concerned relative or friend calls the police to do a wellness check, and they get there and the person has a gun. Police can be reactionary. I wouldn't want anybody to get hurt because the police were called. When you call the police on someone, they often are going to put that person on what's called a 5150. They're going to take them to the hospital, and they're going to be there for 72 hours. That can mean, and that person may not have access to their cell phone. They may not be allowed to make phone calls. They may not be allowed to see friends and family. So that definitely can cause some complications in their life. So don't suggest calling the police lightly. But if calling the police and having them do a wellness check could potentially save someone's life, that's when I recommend doing it. But yeah, it's tricky, because I would not want someone to lose their life, but I do know that the police are not always the best at handling things, and other complications can arise if you actually are hospitalized. Like if you go back to work and you were scheduled and you can't go into work and you can't call your employer, that can create problems. So I don't say any of that lightly, but it's tricky. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained in any of this. So yeah, so just know that I don't suggest having someone do a wellness check lightly. And Scotty, I'll try and reach out to Andy and see if I can figure out how to PayPal him your donation, because yeah, we're all financially hurting right now. So that's very nice of you. Thank you. Robert says, my EDD benefits are 0. Do I notify them? Oh yeah, we did that one. So should be automatic if you're still within your benefit year, but if you can't certify, then you would need to call them. Yes. Yes. A lot of you guys sending your love to Andy. Okay. Andy's saying that he's glad that he has God by his side. Joel says he got his IRS tax refund from the unemployment write-off. Nice. Yes, that is great. I'm glad to hear that. Carol says, I have 4 pending weeks on my UI. Is that normal? Like, why are they doing this? 4 weeks is a bit too many. After you file a new claim, your claim does go through a review period. It goes through third party for review, and they're looking for fraud. But that review process is only supposed to take between 2 and 6 weeks. It's not taking 6 weeks for most people. After about the third week, you should be able to call the EDD and get them to push those payments through, but make sure to mention financial hardship. Mike says, if I get a new year on my claim, do I get 26 weeks even if California's unemployment rate goes down? Yep. If you qualify for a new claim, that's a whole new claim, 26 weeks at whatever your weekly benefit amount is. Oops. Oh, shoot. I lost my place, guys. You know what that means? It means take time to like the video. Mike is saying police officers have very little education. That can be true. Toya says, as a Black American, I will not call the police, probably a mental health professional. Yeah, Toya, that's actually a really good point. Someone mentioned that you can call AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and you can get someone from them to try and reach out to your loved one. It's very tricky, and yeah, for people of color, it's even trickier. And yeah, I am aware of that, and I want to be sensitive to that. I'm gonna cry. And I don't have that background. Obviously I am very, very white, and I am aware of that privilege, and it is trickier. It is. So yeah, please be cautious if you do decide that you need to call the police on people. I would not want to make something worse. Man, that is so tricky. Okay. I'm going to skip around a little bit because Miss Moreno has a question that I'm seeing. Do I report to the EDD when I start a new job? So if you're going to be earning too much to still qualify for benefits, and the EDD does not count the first 25% of what you make, then you actually don't need to certify. You can just kind of stop certifying. If you think you might still qualify for some benefits, then you can certify. Worst case scenario, it'll either tell you you're fully employed or it'll say excessive earnings. You do need to report the wages the week they're earned, not the week that you were paid, if you're a traditional W-2 worker. Jossie Boo, thank you for the donation and the sticker. I really appreciate that. Manuel, I'm skipping around again. I'm going to try and scroll back up. Manuel says, good morning. I have on mascara and lip gloss. You're still having problems getting through to unemployment. You'll try again next week. No more crying. I'm a really sensitive, emotional person. So yeah, I get emotional pretty easy. If you guys have been on my live streams, you probably see me cry. So don't worry about me. It's just kind of like who I am. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, scrolling back up. Trying to figure out where I left off a little earlier. Oscar wants to know, is work search still waived in California? It is, even though in kind of all of the latest news releases, they are talking about resources to find jobs. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point we are asked to start listing where we looked for work again. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry. Rosie says, my benefits ended a week ago, and it's saying for me to certify on the 20th of June, but I have no benefit money left. Am I getting an extension? Yes. Or yes, it sounds like it at least. And that's a really good sign that you have a new date to certify, because usually your claim balance isn't going to go up until you certify again. But the fact that you have a date to certify is good, either right before or right after you certify. That's when you should see your claim balance increase. Vladimir, I care about all of you guys. I know that I don't personally know you, but I really want to help everybody, and I really do care. Okay, Oscar says, we did Oscars. Oh yeah, and Andy's asking everybody to like the video. That would be amazing. Jaja says, I am pending 9 weeks waiting on a phone interview. I should be back at work by August. When I return to work, do they still owe me my weeks pending? Yes, they do, because you were not working prior to August. They do. You hopefully, once you have your interview, they will release those payments and switch them to paid. But yeah, even if you go back to work in August, you weren't working in May, June, whenever those pending weeks started. So yes, they should owe those to you. Um, Frank says, yeah, yep. Viviana's also helping. I like when you guys help each other in the comments and are positive. Frank says, my friend and I worked the same job at the same place. When he certifies for UNL, he has to fill out a work search. When I certify, I don't. It goes to the next page. Why? I do not have an answer for that. I will say that the same thing happened to me and my coworkers. For the longest, it said mine had that little extra part and must look for work each week, whereas my bosses said must be able and available to look for work, which mine also said, but mine went on to say and must look for work each week. Mine didn't stop saying that until for 2 certifications in a row, I actually quit list for almost a year. I listed 3 places that I was looking. And then finally, when I had a date to return to work, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and not list places where I'm applying. And when I hit skip or next, instead of listing the places I work, after doing that, so a month of doing that, 2 certifications, that's when the wording actually fell off of my claim and switched to you must be able and available to look for work. And it dropped that extra little bit about and must look for work each week. Viviana. Oh, Viviana's helping everybody. Thank you, Viviana. Yes, not requiring a work search right now. Joel, you said that you have an interview date. But 9 weeks is a really long time. So I would call again and see if they can push those payments through. They might not be able to with an interview, but sometimes some of the reps, even when you have an interview, some of them are able to tell you what the interview is for, ask you some questions right there on the phone, and remove that flag so you can get paid. Akila, hello from San Diego. Hello. I worked in San Diego for a little bit, and I worked with an employee named Akira. She was awesome. Okay, Lavania says they switched me back to my old claim and can't certify for today now. If you're not able to certify, I would recommend calling or reaching out to your assembly member for help. Poison says, I exhausted my benefit on May 30th, 2 weeks later, which is today. I got my extension, but I got the extension on an old claim that expired November 19th, 2020. I started a new claim December of 2020. Why? Because the EDD does not seem to be able to get their act together. I'm so sorry about that. It sounds like you're going to have to call to get that fixed. I don't like saying that, but yes. I'm so sorry. Okay. Achilles. Oh, it's helping. Saying to call to certify in the system. You don't have to talk to anyone and you get paid. The same thing happened to me. So I think Aquila is saying to do the telecertification. And that might be an option if you don't see a way to certify. Telecert certainly might be an option. Keep in mind, if you do telecert, don't also file online if it lets you, because then you'll get a message that says it's duplicate. Namir says, so you just received this message. Your claim has expired, but you do not need to reapply. We process the federal extension weeks on your claim. Continue to certify for benefits. I'm lost. So in your case, Namir, it looks like they're saying that they've been able to look at your wage history and determine that you don't qualify for a new claim. So they went ahead and automatically added the extension to your claim. And they are saying just continue to certify and there shouldn't be problems on your claim. Noted rock historian says, I have 8 weeks of pending payments. My employer is challenging my claim. I had problems with the idea of unpaid furlough. My employee never offered this and I quit. Did I screw up? Not necessarily. Keep fighting it. keep saying that you didn't realize that you had the option to go on unpaid furlough, it's either 93 or 97% of the cases, the EDD sides on the side of the employee, not the employer. Okay. Andy's saying that I can donate Scotty's donation. So if that's okay, I'm going to go ahead and donate. I'm going to add that money to the donation to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And Andy is asking for prayers. Mike, yeah, we did those. Okay, Kristen says, I just don't understand how this is legal. How can EDD do this? They have no guidelines, no rules for what they're responsible for. Why aren't they being held accountable? Jenny Silver has a really, really great video about this. She interviewed EDD attorneys. They don't work for the EDD, but they represent those with unemployment claims. Basically, since it's computer programming, the EDD is saying that they don't have control over these computer glitches, and so class action lawsuit is not possible. The DOL, the Department of Labor, they actually do give the EDD guidelines, but and they actually tried to define what timely was. Some of the things that the ED did to try and make sure that the payments would be timely, like not having us verify our IDs when we first opened claims, caused us so many problems later on. So in some cases, it seems like they're pushing things through so that things happen faster. And initially it might be better, but then 3, 6, 9 months down the line, it's causing more problems. And it's really because the computers are really outdated, and there's not even that many people that know how to program like the computer programming language that the EDD computers use. So hopefully they're given more funding in the future so that they can update everything, so that if we're ever in a situation like this again, that things go smoother. And part of it's just that so many of us lost our jobs at the same time, and the system just was not prepared for that. It really does suck, though. And it does seem like some sort of class action lawsuit should be possible. But watch Jenny Silver's video with that lawyer, because that was really interesting to me. Okay. Yep. Noted rock historian says the sheriff's department in my neighborhood is full of 20-something white supremacist male officers. They've had minimal training and carry guns. What could go wrong? Yeah, there's so much with the cops not being responsible. And it's really a shame. It really is. C says I certified today and got paid. Rich is saying that's good advice. Mark says, I filed a new claim back in April and got a 1277 letter back and still in FedEd extension. And I called them several times. It's been 6 weeks, no money yet. Mark, so definitely in your situation, reach out to your assembly member. Let them know that you're experiencing financial hardship because you haven't been paid in a long time, and see if there's any way that they can push your payments through faster. Yeah, it's just a lot of people really cautioning against calling the police for mental health issues. So try the Alcoholics Anonymous hotlines. I was told that they have programs that can also help with that, or the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Manuel says, thank you. Oh, still having problems. Oh yeah, we read Manuel's about me crying. Oh, and I just lost my place again. My mouse is too sensitive. Okay. So I'll skip around a little bit. Ludmila says, my payment is on pending for 6 weeks and I'm not sure why. It's definitely time to call. Again, you guys, Tuesday through Saturday, try between 2:30 and 4 o'clock. After the long intro message, quickly hit 134. Kira, these tips will work for that as well. I just dial the 833-978-2888. 2511 number. Again, they're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays as well. There are rumors that tier 2 reps don't work on Sundays. I'm not sure if that's true. Good morning, Christopher. Yeah, it's called COBOL, their computer language, which went out of popularity in the 1980s, and there's a shortage of people who actually know the computer languages, want to ensure work, learn that. Christopher, if only some of us were computer savvy. I have tried to learn coding. Coding pays very well. But I don't think I have the aptitude for it. I'm good at math, so I want to be good at programming, but just goes right over the top of my head. Okay. Fredamir is asking about using Claimyr. You have a question about Claimyr? Or are you saying it's effective? Claimyr does work. Ultimately, I do think calling the EDD should be free. But I also pin my discount code. It's an affiliate link, meaning I get some payment if you guys use my affiliate link. So many people like it. It calls the EDD for you. You still have to hold though, and that hold time can be 2+ hours. So be prepared to hold even if you use Claimyr, but at least with the hold portion, you can put your phone on mute, put it on the charger, wash your dishes, watch a YouTube video, watch a whole movie maybe in the time you're holding. And then it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the rep that will fix your claim. But to me, the hard part is dialing the EDD, and Claimyr does work for that. And yes, it's a $5 discount code. I've got it pinned as the top comment up above. It's not a number that you call. A lot of people think you have to call Claimyr. You don't. It's a website, and you enter your phone number and your credit card information to pay the $14.99. Don't pay $19.99. Just pay $14.99 when you use my link. And it dials for you and it rings your phone back once they're connected. I'm skipping around a little bit. Freight TV says, what happens when the 12-week extension of PEUA, my claim year, ends August of 2021? So they're supposed to automatically check to see if you qualify for a new claim. If you have wages that would qualify you for a new claim, they're going to have you file a new claim. If you don't have wages that qualify you for a new claim, they should automatically add the next extension for you that will take you through the week ending September 4th. Someone recently mentioned that they just now got a letter about the 29-week extension. And guys, it's not going to last the whole 29 weeks. It is going to end September 4th. And they're not going to cash you out on September 4th. Whatever money is unused would just go back to the federal government. Or I'm not exactly sure where it goes back to, but you're not going to have access to it, unfortunately. Yes, there's 181 of you and only 51 likes. So if you guys could like the video, that's amazing. That would be amazing. I'm going to take a little drink of this weird kombucha. Okay. Still skipping around a little bit. Steve says, my claim is so screwed. Have so many weeks of retroactive weeks, but now I've started a new job last week, so no more need for benefits. I don't know what will come of my claim. So keep actively trying to get those weeks paid, but I'm glad that you're starting a new job. They should owe you all that back pay from when you weren't working. It just may take a little while to get it straightened out. But if they owe you a lot of weeks of back pay, that can be significant amounts of money. So don't give up on this money that you're owed. Get that money. Yeah, Fredamar, that's great. Claimyr sometimes gets you the call back from the EDD within 2 minutes. But we all know that when the EDD tells you your hold time is 28 minutes, that it can actually be 2 hours. So still be prepared to hold. And I hope that you're able to get a rep that fixes your claim. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll back up. Katie Cakes says, I got the maximum benefits paid message. You applied in December. You have no way to certify now. It says that the federal extensions will automatically work. When should I see it? So after your claim hits 0 for the first time, or whenever, because there's a couple extensions. So whenever your claim balance hits 0, it is pretty common to see the maximum benefits paid message, and your claim balance will not increase until your next certification cycle. So if you go to certify again and your claim balance doesn't increase at that time, that's when you would need to call them. So it stays at 0 for the whole 2 weeks until you certify again, and then that's when that goes back up. Let's see here. Bubble Pop Inc. says, my claim balance hit 0 about a week ago, and I received the maximum benefits paid message for 1 week and not paid for the second week. Should I call the EDD or wait to see if the claim balance goes up? So I think wait one more week. A week ago, it hit 0. So I think by next week, you should be able to certify again, and that's when that claim balance should go up. If it's already been 2 full weeks and you haven't been able to certify and the balance hasn't gone up, that's when you need to call them again. Heather says, you exhausted your balance, you're on 0, but you haven't received my extension and you couldn't certify. And it says you can't file a new claim till my claim expires in November. You're on regular unemployment. So has it been more than 2 weeks? It usually goes all the way down to 0 and stays there for the whole 2 weeks until you certify again. And if it's been longer than that and you can't certify, then I do recommend calling. Data warning banner. Any update? I have not seen that. Yes, and the Claimyr discount with my link is $5 off your first time calling. So I know a lot of people maybe use Jenny Silver's link and then they're like, oh, well, if I ever need to call them again, I'll use Shelly's link. But it knows like your phone number, so it knows if you've already used Claimyr or not. The $5 discount code is only off your first time calling Claimyr. Remy says my claim, okay, so we did that. So wait 2 weeks, you guys. If you've got that maximum benefits paid message, that is normal. Wait 2 weeks. If it doesn't go up in 2 weeks, that's when you need to call. Okay, scrolling back up, trying to figure out where I left off. WH says, do you have a background in finance or money management? I'd like to know how you saved and invested into your home all on your own. You're looking to save and buy a house all on your own too. I am going to talk about that because eventually I got to transfer off of the unemployment topic. So thank you for asking because I love to talk about this. I grew up very, very, very poor, but aware of the news headlines, like you're not going to have Social Security to rely on when you retire. And I've just watched my mom struggle because she does live off of only Social Security, which pays her bills. But like if her car breaks down, she doesn't have the money to fix it. If she worries when her insurance bill goes up or something like that. So I just knew I didn't want that for myself if I could avoid it. So I started working at the movie theater when I was 18. That was even too young. You can't, at my company, participate in your 401k program, I think, until you're 21. At 21, I just started putting the minimum in to get the company match. The company match isn't even that great, but I started putting in, sorry, not the minimum, the maximum to get the company match, which is 6%. And when the housing market crashed, like in 2008, 9, 10, somebody like an employee under me bought a house. And I was like, wow, she can afford to buy a house. Like maybe I should start looking seriously. I got a real estate agent and started looking. I did take out half of my 401k balance to put the down payment on my house. To me, that was worth it. A lot of times they say don't touch your 401k balance, but I think if it's to, personally, I believe if it's to put money down on a primary residence that you're going to live in, it's very worth it. My mortgage payment is only $1,100. That's in Los Angeles. It is a 2-bedroom. I have this bedroom that I use for filming. So now that's a business write-off. And then the bedroom that I actually sleep in. And I rent my garage to my friend who I call my roommate so that they can work from home. So I have a little money coming in from that as well. So that's how I did it. Not necessarily a financial background, but just kind of reading a lot of finance articles because I'm scared about the future for myself. I'm single. I don't have kids. So I'm going to need to rely on myself. So I'm trying to put myself in a good position to do that and want to encourage you all to do that as well. Okay, back to the unemployment questions. Big Pun says, I've been pending since 5/6/2021 after my benefit year end date. And when I certified again today, it shows the past 4 weeks was changed to paid, but nothing shows up in my account. What should I do now? I would wait till tomorrow morning. If it just now switched to paid, it may not be loaded onto the EDD debit card until tomorrow, but that is a good sign. Fred Amar says, I still haven't gotten my refund unemployment tax, California stimulus, unemployment pending. And again, if you have dependents, if you had a slightly more complicated tax situation, those haven't started to go out yet. Go Gary. Why isn't my submit button lighting up? What submit button? You mean like your certify button? What do you mean by lighting up? Do you mean your comment? Okay. Yeah, Toya's also saying that the EDD does typically side with the employees. Yes, they do. So it's worth it to fight it. Pastor Glenn says, are all the FEUC federal program extensions going away September 4th? As of right now, yes. Congress could still vote to extend them, but now we're up to 25 states. The red states, the Republican states that don't want to continue unemployment benefits. Then you've got Democrats that want like universal stimulus checks. I do think that September 4th is probably going to be the end on a lot of these programs. Okay. Siren Russell says, how is the opening of LA June 15th going to affect people on PUA? Thanks. It shouldn't at all, really. But at some point, the EDD might ask us all to start listing work search requirements. But right now, it's still waived. So for now, it's still waived. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Benjamin, I don't think they're going to extend it. Slacktavis says, can you receive unemployment if you worked 3 jobs and lost 1? I would say it would be unlikely because the most you can make, even if your weekly benefit amount is $450, that's the maximum weekly benefit on unemployment. Even with a weekly benefit amount that high, the most you could make in a week from your other 2 jobs would be $598. I just tend to think if you're working, you can apply and see if you qualify, but my guess would be that with the other 2 jobs, you're probably going to make too much to qualify for unemployment. But it never hurts to apply and see what happens. Okay, Elizabeth says, in March, I started my new claim, but they just gave me 11 weeks. When I finish the 11 weeks, what extension will I get, or how many weeks after that? So after the 11-week extension, it's going to say you get a 29-week extension, but you're not going to be able to use or redeem all 29 weeks. You are going to get benefits that will take you through September 4th. Chris says, I had my interview 3 weeks ago, 12 weeks pending. The interview said she would contact my last employer, still no update. Chris, that is definitely a situation where you want to reach out to your assembly member and see if they can push those payments through. Abel, the tax refund, they're doing people that had really easy claims first, and then they're moving on to people whose claims may have been a little bit more complex. Also, it's only for people who filed before the tax software had the programming updates built into the software. So I want to say for a lot of people, that was going to be people who filed before March 12th. If you filed after March 12th, it's very possible that the code for giving that first $10,200 in unemployment money was already programmed into the software. Cecilia, thank you for the donation. You got your schedule for your new job and you'll make less than my weekly benefit amount. Will I get any portion of that amount or just the boost? Thanks. Yes, you will get any portion of that. Here's what you're going to do to figure that out. Okay, now this isn't going to, it doesn't add up quite like exact. So we're going to estimate. Notice I said you can make, if your weekly benefit amount was 450, but this math is going to work for any, anything. So you're going to take your weekly benefit amount, 450 times 1.33. So what does that give us? It should give us almost 598. 450 times 1.33 equals 598, 598.50. But then you actually need to make $1 less than that to still get some benefits. So that would be 597.50. At 597.50, you would get approximately $1 in benefits plus the $300 boost. So to find out how much you can make, but let's say you didn't make the whole 598, right? Let's say you made 500. They don't count the first 25% of what you make. So for that, you take 500 times 0.25. So that equals minus 100. So they don't count the first $125. So that's 375. So 450 minus 375 equals you'd get $75 plus 300. Sorry, that got all messy. But so that's how you would do that. I hope that made sense. Hi, Jenny. Yes, and Andy's in here. Oh, thank you. Yes, please leave comments on the video. Please say hi to Jenny Silver. Jenny Silver, you know I'm pumping up your video. People are frustrated with the EDD and they're wishing that they could be held accountable. I don't know if you have your own link handy, but I really want my viewers to check out that video that you made with the attorney about whether you can file a class action lawsuit or not. That to me was that was one of your most interesting videos. All Jenny's videos are good, but to me personally, I really was fascinated about how that worked. Jenny, so if you want to drop a link to your own video in my chat, go on ahead, because I want people to check out that video. She may have already popped right back out. She's super busy, you guys. But yeah, I love when she stops by to support the video. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. And Cecilia, thank you for the donation. I hope that made sense. So whatever your weekly benefit amount is times 1.33 is the most that you can make to still qualify for some benefits. But depending on how much more or less than, well, really less than that you make would determine how much you still get from your unemployment claim. You do need to make at least $1 from unemployment to also get the $300 boost. And congratulations on your new job. Lil Rambo, are you commenting on Jenny's videos pretending you're a new viewer? Because if not, she's got a fake Lil Rambo. But you made the winky face on her video. So yeah. Steve says, very happy to be working. Oh, today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Steve. Okay. Yeah, Fredemar, you might be holding for a while. And if the first rep is not able to help you, don't be afraid to very nicely ask if you're able to speak with a tier 2 rep. I'm scrolling back up. Manuel says, I helped to file a claim for my uncle who has a throat surgery recently and can't talk. And it is a month now that was not paid and still pending. We just certified again. Is there any form we can print? Not necessarily. You might be able to telecert or you might be able to request paper certifications, but that may not help you. What you might want to do is reach out to your assembly member, and I do have the link on how to find your assembly member in the description of this video and find out why. Also, Manuel, be careful, because if he is not able to work because of surgery, he may not qualify for benefits those weeks while he's recovering. Anthony says, Dad, Grandpa, oh yeah, everything's on track with your claim. That is awesome. I'm hoping that a lot of the claims are finally starting to clear up. Heather says, I have no money to call Claimyr. A lot of people don't, and I don't. Fred Amar, your pending is now paid. Wait, did you get through to the EDD already? Or did that happen like while you were on hold with them? Justine, I will scroll up to Justine's comment in a second. Heather, I want to give you some tips for calling the EDD for free. I don't want people to feel like they have to pay for Claimyr. I completely get that everybody in this chat is on unemployment, and that just may not be an option for you. So the best times to call are going to be Tuesday through Saturday. If you can, 2:30 to 4 o'clock. And really anytime before 6. You guys know I don't recommend calling after 6 because that hold time can be 2 hours and they do close at 8 p.m. So to me, after 6 p.m. is for sure a waste of time. Now, sometimes you might have to call 20, 30, 80 times in a row. Your phone might get hot. Unfortunately, that's normal if you do want to call yourself for free, even at the good times, because you guys know there's not really a good time. But 2:30 to 4 is supposed to be a little bit better. And again, not Sunday or Monday for the most part, because the call volume's high. Sunday, everybody's certifying. So if there's a problem, that's when they want to call. But there's the rumors that the tier 2 reps don't work on Sunday. So a lot of people wait until Monday to call. A lot of people don't even actually know that the EDD is open Sunday for calls at all. So they also call Monday. So I don't recommend calling Sunday or Monday. Tuesday through Saturday, 2:30 to 4. Listen to the long intro message, then quickly hit 1, 3, 4. Another option is to pick a different language. And then when they answer on that other language call, just say, oops, I meant to press English. Are you able to help me anyway? Because most of the reps can still speak English, or they should be able to. And what else? I'm going to pull up something from one of my employees or one of my coworkers that they said worked for them. This is a tip from someone else's video. He didn't get it from Jenny Silver, but she probably has this tip because she's got all the good tips. He says, go on the EDD website, click Find an Office. On the next page, click the American Job Center of California link, search for the closest office using your zip code, call that office and tell them what your issue is and see if they will transfer you to a rep. So those are the tips to call the EDD for free or to get through to the EDD for free. I certainly understand not everybody can afford Claimyr. It's not a good fit for everybody, but if it is, it does work. Justine, looking for your comment. Having trouble finding it. Okay, Justine, I don't see your comment. Can you please ask it again? I never intentionally skip anybody's questions. Often I do get too many questions to answer them all. So I usually hope that in answering someone else's question, it also answers yours. So yeah, Justine, can you please ask your question again? I'm going to take a drink of this weird kombucha thing. Okay. Anthony M. says, I certified for benefits today and it stated paid on my claim. I received my 1277 notice on Friday and it's still in review. Will I see my payment in 24 hours? If it's switched to paid on your homepage, you should. That's a very good sign. Vernon says, you just got here, but maximum benefits have been paid for over a month with no availability to certify. Will I have more access to PUA or do I need to call in? Since it's been a month, I would say it's time to call in, unfortunately. Fred Amar, I'm so glad that your claim is now paid. Let's see here. Yeah, Vernon, I would call. Holman says I have 2 weeks that won't let me do the certifications, and I wanted to know why that is. Unfortunately, sometimes I can tell you why that is. If it's just not letting you certify, though, you are going to need to call the EDD to get that cleared up. And Jimmy, if it's been over a month, unfortunately, it's time to call them. Yes. Bro, you cappin' says, I like that name, says, if I was switched to a PEUY extension, how long will it last until September 4th? Yep, that is how long it should last. Justine, here's your question. 13 weeks pending. You get cut off when on hold for a tier 2 operator. Do you think it will fix itself? Unfortunately, I don't. I wish that was not my answer. But if it's been pending that long, it's stuck. And so if you're getting hung up on, my best advice to you would be to reach out to your assembly member. You guys know that I recommend reaching out to them by email. That way you have a written trail of when you reached out to them and what their response was. So that's my advice, is to use your assembly member, because 13 weeks is a really long time. Crystal, thank you very much. Fredamar says, I thought filing taxes in 45 days you get the California stimulus. Well, Fredamar, I supposedly qualified for that too. Although I was a little bit surprised, but my adjusted gross income was below 30,000. And I haven't gotten mine yet either. And it's definitely been more than 45 days, but I filed kind of late. So I'm just I don't know. It's not here. I'm not worried about it yet. Dulce says, I used Claimyr and talked to someone on Thursday because you have 6 weeks pending. The lady said it should be available on the weekend, and I still see pending. So here's the thing. When the EDD gives you like a specific date or time frame, I'm kind of distrustful of that. Because a lot of times, like, it'll switch to paid or like letting you certify right there when you're on the phone with them, or switch to paid right there when you're on the phone with them. Since it hasn't switched to paid, I do recommend calling them again. And unfortunately, the $5 discount code isn't going to work this time since you already used it. So an option for you might be to reach out to your assembly member, or to try the tips that I just listed for getting through to the EDD for free. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I do think you need to call again. I'm spell legacy like death. I'm definitely not perfect. No one's perfect, guys. No one's perfect. Ellie says, I filed a new claim on 5/17 and got a text saying it's processing and nothing. So 5/17, yeah, it's almost a month later. It's time to call them and see if they can push those payments through. Myra says, what happens if someone reports wages wrong? Will they get an overpayment letter or pay it all back on taxes? Most likely you would get an overpayment letter, and then from there you can arrange payments with them, with the EDD. Okay. Ellie says, nothing. Now text saying no need to reapply. What do I do? So you shouldn't need to reapply. Let me scroll up, Ellie. Okay, so that's good that you got that. Hopefully that means your claim is moving along. So maybe give it one more week before you call. But at this point, if you call, they probably can push the payments through. CR says, can you explain what is going to happen to all of us collecting unemployment benefits in July coming up that is a quarterly review? Yes and no. Yes, I can tell you what's happened in the past, but I don't know for sure what will happen in the future. So what happens is grandfathered claims older than a year, which most of us are. If we're on extension, if we didn't qualify for a new claim, chances are we have a grandfathered claim. So what has happened in the past with people with claims that are older than a year old, it just gets stuck. It gets stuck on pending, and there's no obvious reason why. You're still within your benefit year, or you've already been approved for your extension and you've been getting it with no problems. You're chugging along and happy and everything's going well. And then poof, it just gets stuck on pending without any real explanation. And then in the past, people have just had to call to get it pushed through, and they remove the pending flag. They're likely just going to ask you if you've done any work since the last time they checked. And if the answer is still no, they keep you on your existing claim, and they remove the flag. They remove the quarterly review flag. But unfortunately, I do think in July, a lot of us are going to have to call again. Okay. Corrine says, my claim expires this month. I had wages for the last 18 months, but I received a message that I don't have to file a new claim. I don't know. Can I still file for the new claim? You can try. My guess is that maybe they checked and it's not quite enough wages to qualify for a whole new claim, and or maybe the base period that they're using doesn't qualify you for a new claim. But even the EDD in their news release says that one of the ways to check to see if you truly need to file a new claim or not is by trying to file a new claim. So if you try and file a new claim and it lets you, then it's going to let you and you can proceed. If it doesn't let you, that means that, the wages that it's pulling are not sufficient enough to qualify for you for the new claim, and they're just going to keep you on extension until September 4th. Yeah, Fredamar, it's taking longer than 45 days for me as well to get that California Golden State stimulus. So it seems normal. I know they said 45 days, but at least it's normal for me to have not got it yet either. Thank you, Steve, for watching and supporting the channel. You guys, it took like 5 months before someone made like a thanks a million joke, which I just thought was like, I was like, I can't believe I've had the channel this long and no one said it. And it hadn't occurred to me either. Anyway, you're welcome a million. Vernon says, will I get back pay for the missing payments for May for having maximum benefits paid once they allow me to certify again? You should, but you might have to request back pay. And to request back pay, you need to use the Ask EDD feature. Alan says, it's been more than 3 weeks since I applied for a new claim. I received a letter saying what my new weekly benefit amount would be, but it looks like I haven't approved it. Should I wait until after week 5? I wouldn't. That's such a long time to wait. It seems like at the 3-week mark, if you call, they have the ability to push it through. And I've seen, I won't say no evidence, but very little evidence that once someone's claim is stuck pending for more than 3 weeks, that it resolves itself. Most of the time, it seems like it takes a call. Bly says, I'm very disciplined with money. Yes, I am. I'm cheap. I'm frugal. I've got my old iPhone. It is cracked. I still use it for filming. Look, there's my Tesla though, because I'm trying to visualize a Tesla. That's a Model S. Never say never, but can't actually afford a Model S no matter what. But yeah, I'm very driven. And I'm going to be honest, a little bit of it is because of fear. I don't have a big family. It is mostly just me and my mom. I do have some extended family, some like half brothers and sisters that I didn't grow up with in Georgia. And I love them, but they're almost like strangers to me. I don't know how to explain how you can both love somebody and have them be almost like strangers, but they are. I don't know them really well. So it's just going to be me. I'm one of them. It's just going to be me. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of expectations I've put on myself to live up to. But yeah. Okay. And I want to help you guys reach your financial dreams as well. I don't think the American dream is dead. It does take discipline. And just like people talking about it, be honest about finances. I'm going to start skipping around because I didn't really realize it, but I've already been on for over an hour. Letty says, I'm collecting unemployment. I will have surgery in July. Can I apply for a disability and stop unemployment? Yes, you can. And I think you're actually going to need to, because if they found out that you were, if you have surgery, it's very unlikely that you would be able to accept work. And although the work search requirement is waived, you are supposed to be able and available to accept work. If you're recovering from surgery, that would be pretty hard. Let's see. Yes. Karen says, I'm confused. You received your initial EDD confirmation of your 21 to 22, that's a claim year, on 426. On 510, notice of amended UI award showing total wages of 16K and weekly balance of 446. On 6-4, you received invalid claim section 1277. So unfortunately, the invalid claim letter 1277, it supersedes the weekly benefit award letter. So that means you didn't qualify for a new claim. It's usually because you may have had some wages at the beginning of your base period, but if you didn't work pretty much at all through the pandemic since you first filed this claim, you're not going to qualify for the new claim. So the 1277 letter makes the new claim invalid. But that getting the 1277 letter and having the new claim denied is what allows you to stay on the extension and have the extensions applied to your claim through the week ending September 4th. Yeah. Yeah, and you said 9/6, but keep in mind the EDD, and that's like what the official language says is till September 6th, but the EDD is not able to compute those partial weeks. So the last week that we're going to be paid is the week ending 9/4 that we'll certify for on 9/5. So Karen, it does count as income, but you also, one of the qualifications to totally qualify for the new claim is that you must have done some work basically since applying for that for your initial claim. And there's two different ways to calculate it. It also has to be above a certain amount since you first opened your new claim. So for example, I had my base period was October of 2018 through September of 2019. So then I had wages from October of 2019 to March of 2020 when I first got furloughed. I worked a couple of shifts. They had me go into the theater to check on it and to shut down some things and to order some things. So I actually worked a couple days since first filing for unemployment, but it wasn't enough to cross the threshold to qualify for a new claim. So you had to have some work, more than a couple shifts from the point you originally filed your claim. Okay, I've scrolled down pretty much to the end. Vernon says, you just got connected and put on hold via Claimyr, but they just went on lunch for the hour. So tack on another hour. Yeah, shoot, Vernon. Something else that I also haven't mentioned in a while, when you are calling, even if you're using Claimyr, I actually recommend starting that call by about 4:30. That gives Claimyr time to dial and get through, gives you time to hold, gets time for you to connect to the rep and hopefully have them fix your claim. So 4:30 is the latest I would start using Claimyr. I also don't recommend calling at noon. I don't know for sure. Like, certainly most companies don't send everyone to lunch at the same time. But it really does seem like with the EDD that somehow the reps seem to be on lunch at noon. Ugh. But yeah, hopefully, Vernon, they come back on before noon and fix your claim. But I'm glad that the call dialed and got through. Justine, if you get cut off when you're with a tier 2, if you used Claimyr to do the call, you can actually say that you got disconnected and they'll call back for free for you. I don't know if you used Claimyr or not, but yeah, I'm getting a lot of people saying that they're actually disconnected on their wait for the tier 2 rep. I also had in that message board that I'm on, I had somebody say that at like 8:30 in the morning, they were told that there were 1,000 people waiting to hold for a tier 2 rep. And that rep told that person that when there's 2,000 people waiting to talk to a tier 2 rep, that's when they just disconnect people. I can't even imagine being like caller 1,999. That's so crazy. But yeah, it might not be on purpose. Juliana, pending for a week already. It might be time to call them. Sometimes I recommend waiting like 2 or 3 weeks, especially if you've just filed a new claim. But if you filed a new claim, even after about week 3, they should be able to push those payments through. Yeah, Philip, the article that I read. All right, is Andy taken off? All right, Andy. Oh, yeah. Andy, it's a lot of people that were concerned about you and supported you. Yes. Okay. All right. Have a great day, Andy. And thank you for updating us. Okay, I'm going to do like 2 more questions and then I think I'm going to take off also. That's crazy that the Claimyr sent you a message that they were on lunch. Interesting. Okay. Chad says, do I have to do a new claim when it expires in 2 months? Yes and no. The EDD is supposed to automatically check and see if you qualify for a new claim. And if you don't, they're supposed to automatically keep you on your old claim. The thing is, even according to the EDD news release, one of the ways to check if you're going to automatically be extended or not is by filing a new claim. And if it lets you, it means you need to file a new claim. And if it doesn't let you, it means you don't need to file a new claim. So I do sometimes recommend still calling the EDD at the end of that 2 months. You can actually see about filing a new claim about 5 days before your benefit year ends. But yeah, about 5 days before your benefit year ends, I do recommend checking. Okay, Crystal says, and thank you for the donation. I did a new claim on 6/2, the day after my job sent a reinstatement letter. I can't accept because it would be a 2-hour commute each way. See, so there are some things that are considered like reasonable reasons why you're not able to accept the job. And it's up to the EDD reviews that on a case-by-case basis. So I have a couple suggestions for you. And a lot of us, it's a movie theater. It's not retail, but I can't manage the movie theater from home. So I understand that what I'm about to say next may not apply. But if it is the type of job that at all you could do from home, maybe ask them if you can do any work from home. If not, like I know my company, we're not denying people's claims if they can't come back to work, but we're real upfront about that. We just, we laid off everybody so suddenly. I think they feel bad about the way they kind of went about it. So even if I call and an employee says that they can't come back to work right now, we're not reporting that to the EDD. It could be for various reasons. Some employees aren't vaccinated yet. Some aren't comfortable coming back to work yet. Some are taking care of relatives. So you would need to talk. If you want to be honest, if you put that you refused work, the EDD is going to want to, at minimum, do a phone interview with you. Definitely, if you say you refused work, it's going to cause your claim to be pending. With that said, you're supposed to be honest with the EDD, but it is going to cause your claim to be stuck on pending. And I don't know how long that phone interview is going to take. And I don't know if the EDD would side with you, even if you have the phone interview. It might depend on a couple things. Were you living closer prior to the pandemic? That would probably be a question. So it's just going to depend. It's going to be up to the EDD. That is a really long commute. But yes, being upfront with the EDD risks that you're going to be pending and need a phone interview. But I don't recommend lying. That could be a false statement penalty that could also cause you problems with your claim. But maybe see if you can, work with your employer to do any hours at all from home, or see if they have a location that's closer to your house that they could transfer you to. That's kind of my advice on that. Stuck in Fresno says, how long should I wait for them to schedule eligibility interview? It's been 2 to 3 weeks already. So what I would do is I would call them and say, hey, it's been 3 weeks. I still haven't had my interview. Ask them if they know how long it's going to take. Also say, hey, what is the interview for? Some reps are actually able to remove the interview flag for whatever is causing you to need the interview so that you can get paid. If you do call them, mention that you're experiencing financial hardship since it's already been 2 to 3 weeks, and you can always reach out to your assembly member and see if they can help get your payments pushed through and paid. Hi, Kay. So if you're working in another state, will EDD in California? No. Not right away, but you should report that on when you're certifying as wages earned. Yeah, otherwise that can cause problems. And eventually, somewhere along the line, they most likely would find out. Yes. Okay. And Marie is giving Alexander good information about how to find the account number. So what you have to do is pretend that you're filing for a disability claim, and then it's going to give you your EDD account number. Troy says, got a text yesterday that said my claim expired, but put on federal, no need to reply. This is good, right? Yes, that is a good sign. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. Vernon says, I submitted a new claim last week, although my existing claim is still active. Benefits paid, can't certify since May. Will that affect my current case? I'm waiting for them to answer now. It really depends. If your benefit year was over and it let you file a new claim, it probably means that you needed to file a new claim. Okay. Alvin says, should I be worried about pending payment since it's Sunday? If you just certified and it hasn't switched to paid yet, I wouldn't worry. Sometimes it doesn't switch to paid until after 10 p.m. or even 10 a.m. tomorrow. By then, if you just certified today, it should switch to paid. If not, then I do recommend calling them. And if you just mean like you've been pending for weeks and weeks and weeks, but should you bother calling on a Sunday? I tend to say that if you can wait until Tuesday, generally between 2:30 and 4, that's when I would try calling. Vernon's reminding everybody to like the video. Justine, I'm glad that was helpful. Philip says, yeah, the tax refund. Yeah, and I think we answered that. So they're doing the easy returns first and then moving on to more complex ones. Okay. And Bro Cap'n says, is an extension notified to your last employer? The extensions aren't, but when you file a new claim, when your benefit year ends, your employer does get a new notice. Dorinda says, if you're on your extension tier 2 and it's only for 11 weeks, will you be extended to September? Yes, you should. So after the 11 weeks, it's going to go down to 0. It'd be very normal to see maximum benefits paid. Then after your claim hits 0 and about 5 to 7 business days after that, you should get a notice saying you're approved for a 29-week extension. It is not going to last 29 weeks. It'll only take you through the week ending September 4th. But yes, you should get the next PEUC extension. And I'm going to do Azales. And then I'm going to head out for the day. Okay. Face Alaruez. Man, I'm struggling with your name, but anyhow, sorry. And you said you're within your benefit year, but 2 weeks ago you got a maximum benefits paid. Do you think I'll get a new extension or you're not sure? Yes, you should get another. Oh no, I skipped 2 people. So I guess I'm doing 2 more people's questions. Yes, you should get another extension that takes you all the way through September 4th. You should be able to certify again in 2 weeks, but if not, you would need to call. And your balance is not going to increase for an entire 2 weeks. Azale says, you filed a new claim, but your old claim is telling me to certify. Should I certify? I recommend that you do certify. The worst that can happen is those weeks get stuck pending and you have to call. A lot of people aren't getting approved for those new claims. So if you have weeks to certify, I generally recommend certifying for them. It is possible that those get stuck and you have to call to get those moved or get those moved to a right claim. And it's going to largely depend on whether you stay in your existing claim and those just automatically turned to paid, or if you have to call and take some action to get them paid, will depend on if you qualify for a new claim. If you haven't worked at all since you first filed for unemployment, even if you have some wages in the base period that they're using, you most likely will not qualify for a new claim and they are going to keep you on the old claim. And so then if you go ahead and certify on your old claim, then they're already ready to switch to paid after your claim goes through review from filing the new claim. And if you get stuck on pending for more than 3 weeks, then I would recommend calling the EDD and seeing if they can push your payments through. Kay, it just depends. I'm reading Kay's. Kay says, Miss Millions, but my claim is 77, 2019, maybe 77. So I have to redo a whole new claim again. It looks like I still have money on my account. Possibly, Kay. I'm having a little trouble deciphering the question. It sounds like you have what's considered a grandfather claim. So actually what I think will happen in yours is you'll stay on extension. All right, Vernon, I'm wishing you good luck. All right. Hopefully you get a good rep that is able to fix your claim and push your payments through. If they can't, please ask to nicely speak to a tier 2 representative, and fingers crossed that those reps are working today. Actually, fingers crossed that you don't have to go through any of that the first rep you talk to is amazing and fixes your claim. Yesi, can you ask your question one more time in the chat, and I will try and answer it. I just see flowers from Yesi. Oh, here at Yesi, I see it. You have a new claim with your lower weekly benefit amount based on your last year part-time work. You work 12 to 14 hours. I should certify, but it says excessive earnings. Should I call EDD? Unfortunately, if it says excessive earnings, you're not going to get benefits for that week. When you filed your new claim, had you been getting Fed Ed or were you on PEUC? If you were on Fed Ed when you filed the new claim, it's not going to award you your old higher weekly benefit amount. If you were getting PEUC when you filed your new claim, they actually are supposed to keep you on your existing claim at the higher weekly benefit amount. But unfortunately, the excessive earnings warning means that you're not going to get paid for that week. Now, if you think that you should have stayed at your old weekly benefit amount, that's when you would need to call. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I want to do one more question and then that's it. Justine, you're welcome. Dan Tan says, I still have a balance and was scheduled to certify on the 20th, but now I got a text that they extended my claim. Will I still certify on the 20th? Yes, you should. They're just saying they extended your claim. So that sounds like they're keeping you on the extension. So nothing really should change with your certifications. Okay, I am going to try and do yours. July 7th. So you're assuming you're going to be grandfathered and you're going to go to PEUCX. Yes, that sounds right. Or PEUY. That's the third PEUC extension. But either way, Kay, you actually might have to go through the quarterly review that happens in July. So your payments might get stuck pending in July, and then you need to call. All right. Okay. Zeros. And then really, that's got to be the last one. I already filed for a new claim, and you got the 10-week extension. The balance hit 0 2 weeks ago, but I've not received the extension until September 2nd. You live in California. Okay. So if your balance hit 0 2 weeks ago, you should have been able to certify again today. and that's when your balance should have increased. But unfortunately, since that didn't happen, I do recommend calling the EDD. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Have a great day. So glad that Andy popped in to update us all, and I'll see you next time.